Welcome to another video on smart architectural programming, and in today's video we'll be going over how you can become an algorithmic trader using MT5 expert advisors. So we'll explore this exciting world of algorithmic trading and MT5 expert advisors basically first by defining what algorithmic trading is. Algorithmic trading is revolutionizing financial markets by automating strategies to make trading more efficient, accurate, and less emotionally driven. And that is one of the many reasons why today traders, generally speaking, not of big institutional buyers, are failing compared to institutional buyers because they're spending a lot of money having less emotionally driven, extremely rational actors making decisions on metrics and mathematics instead of any emotional decision making regarding a business, whether it works or not. So with that, let's start with exactly understanding what is algorithmic trading. Algorithmic trading, also known as algo trading, is automated trading involving the use of computer programs to execute financial market trades. These programs are built on algorithms that follow defined sets of rules. For example, we give them entry and exit points, we give them stop loss limits, we give them profit targets. With automation, traders can execute strategies in milliseconds, operate 24/7, and limit human biases. And this is the advantage that most big institutional buyers have now over new investors who are trading at a smaller scale. At the same time, the next thing we need to understand is what are MT5 advisors. So our company, SAP, has been creating and curating and coding MT5 advisors for a long time now. More than 500 clients that we've dealt with, creating MT5 advisors for them. So for us, we have a lot of authority when we say and when we define what MT5 advisors are. So MT5 advisors or MetaTrader 5 is basically a popular trading platform for forex, stocks, and commodities. It has built-in tools called expert advisors, which are scripts that automate trading strategies. What are the common features of expert advisors? They have automatic trade execution. They have ability to handle complex trading algorithms. They have they conduct real-time data analysis and trading signal generation. As well as we can do backtesting with historical data for further optimizing our advisor. One of the some of the benefits for expert advisors and their use in trading is that they save time. They save a lot of time for people and individuals. Number two, they save time by automating repetitive tasks that people can do. They reduce emotional trading errors, and they give us the possibility to trade 24/7 basically across global markets basically. So with that out of the way, now we move on to the third section of this video, which is how you can become an algorithmic trader using MT5 expert advisors. So here I'm going with a more technical route, right? Where you do everything yourself. You create the MT5 advisor yourself. You break it down into you know how to conduct trading. You understand how to curate trading strategies on your own. So this is where you're doing everything on your own, right? You can make it much more easier by hiring people to create MT5 advisors for you, or as well as hiring financial advisors, giving them your information and having them give you suggestions on exactly how you can trade to protect your wealth, defined on your own ability basically. And that is the recommended way if you don't know anything about trading or you don't know anything about coding an MT5 advisor. But for the sake of it, you want to learn everything on your own and you want to go through the path of doing everything your own, then you follow the following steps. So the first thing is you need to learn the basics of trading basically, right? So that is very, very essential. How do you trade? How do you get started in the trading field? So before diving into automation, you must understand the fundamentals of trading. First of all, you need to look into markets and instruments. You need to learn about what are the different markets that allow trading to happen, and what are the different instruments in each market that are traded. For example, you need to learn about forex, commodities, stocks, and cryptocurrencies. At the same time, then you need to learn technical analysis skills. You need to study indicators like moving averages, RSI, MACD, etc. Basically, there are a lot of different indicators like that, and you need to learn how to study those indicators and how to identify patterns on those indicators before you move forward from the technical analysis stage. Then you need to look into risk management, which is practice position sizing, stop loss strategies, and risk reward ratios. Basically, have in place measures that protect your wealth. If there's an extreme downturn and you're trading, potentially imagine the worst case scenario that might happen, and you might lose the most amount of money in your existing investments. Then at the same time, imagine having automated stoppage points that say, if I lose $500, immediately close all of my trades. And you might still lose a little more because of latency, but it would protect you from the brunt of you not seeing that fall, you not being aware of that loss, and then a situation popping up where you have to you lose all of your money, basically. So risk management is basically something around that, where you have measures in place which protect you from losing all your money. And all of these things, including risk management, technical analysis, and markets and instruments, are things that can be coded in an expert advisor if you have clarity exactly what you need to do. And that's why you need to learn these things, and then you need to create your own strategy, or again, better way yet, hire a financial advisor to do that for you. So with that, let's move on to step 2, which is familiarizing yourself with MT5. So MT5 is, like most platforms, is just a trading platform, right? It's a platform where you can learn, trade stocks, commodities, what have you, right? Learning and familiarizing yourself with the workbench or the work environment where you're going to work is essential for you to actually make any sort of money with this, basically. So remember, first you need to install and set up MT5, download the official MetaTrader from the MetaTrader 5 from official MetaTrader website, and explore its interface, understand its interface, and try to get more comfortable in using it. Then use demo trading to practice risk-free without losing, without the risk of losing your real money. Do that first and see how it works, basically. And then finally, learn MT5 tools, like focus on features like charting, indicators, and backtesting tools. Familiarize yourself with that, see videos on that, get comfortable with using all of that, right? So with that out of the way, then we move to the third step, which is learning MQL5 programming. And again, disclaimer here, you can probably spend some time and get familiar with trading concepts and create very rudimentary trading strategies for your needs. But programming requires complete commitment. That's a difficult thing to do if you're doing this part-time. So my suggestion here, hire a programming team like SAP to work on whatever trading strategy you get from your financial advisor, or which you create yourself. Tell SAP exactly how the execution of that strategy would work. They'll code it out for you in a specific in MetaCode language 5 and give that to you, basically. So you just need to come up with a strategy, have SAP deal with the coding side, which would require at least 6 to 8 months for you to learn yourself, and then you can start trading immediately. But if you still want to learn the language and you want to go into the 6 to 8 month learning process, then let's focus on please focus on what I say next, basically. So basically, MT5 expert advisors are built using MQL5 or MetaCode's language 5, which is a very similar language to C++, and this enables traders to create custom algorithms. The key concepts to learn in MQL5 language is data structures and variables, functions for market data analysis, logic for trade execution, which is basically means entry and exit conditions for your trade. The resources that you can use to learn this is the official MQL5 documentation, online courses and tutorials, and community forums on mql5.com, basically. So that is how you can put these are resources you can use to learn those 3 core fundamentals for MQL5. But again, I would like to say that this again. This is going to be a long process, and instead of wasting time on that, you can just learn how to, how the finance and the trading side, and then have a professional code whatever strategy that you have, like SAP, and give it to you so you can start trading immediately and do not have to wait say 6 to 8 months to start testing these strategies out. So finally is when you design your own trading strategy, right? That's where we are, where we are now. So at a certain point in time, you have learned the financial concepts. You have familiarized yourself with the MT5 platform. You have you have learned the programming for MetaQuotes language 5, and then you design your trading strategy with the finance knowledge. There are four things you need to understand for that an effective EA begins with, and what are the four characteristics of a sound strategy. These four conditions are market conditions, trend following or range bound. Look into the market conditions around trend following and range bound conditions. Then indicators, select your preferred technical tools that you need to use to actually identify that pattern or market condition. Then you need to define the rules for entry and exit. Unless these conditions are met, there would be no buying and no selling of stocks by your algorithm or expert advisor. And then finally, you need to set up risk parameters to define maximum loss per trade or position that you can afford. Once you're done, then you focus on coding your expert advisor. Again, this might take you a couple of weeks, probably a little more than that, to sort it out. But if you get it done by a professional, they can do if they can do a highly complex customer expert advisor within a week. And that's basically what SAP does. So keep that in mind. Again, you can do it yourself, take a lot of time, or you can get an expert to do it with the defined parameters and the defined strategy given to him, and he can handle everything else on his own. And finally, step 6 is basically backtesting and optimizing. Again, this is something that a professional can do for you. You give them the strategy, they create the strategy, and they backtest and optimize it, basically. So basically, you need to use MT5 strategy tester to backtest your EA with historical data. You need to analyze performance metrics like drawdown, profit factor, and win rate, and you need to optimize parameters to improve results, basically. And finally, the last step to this process, go live. Start trading with live currency with extreme caution, because you need to start, and that the only way to do that is you need to start with a small account or a micro lot size. You need to monitor performance in real time to ensure EA behaves as expected. So don't just turn the EA on and disappear. Sit there initially and see how the EA performs. Review the EA's results as expected or not. And when you get up, close the EA down. Don't let it trade on live account without supervision unless you're sure it's trading as expected. And then continuously refine and adapt based on the market changes that you see while you're trading. Before we wrap this video up, we need to look at a couple of challenges on how to overcome and how to overcome those challenges in this process of becoming an algorithmic trader using MT5. And that is basically, you always should have a learning curve. Programming and trading requires dedication. Leveraging online resources and consistent practice would help you. But again, programming is probably more time consuming than learning enough finance knowledge to actually start creating finance strategies, right? But trading strategies. But at the same time, programming is something that you probably would need at minimum 6 to 8 months, especially considering MetaQuotes language 5 is similar to C++, which is a relatively difficult language to learn. Then there's an over optimization problem, which basically happens when you create strategies that only work for historical data but fail in live markets. And again, like, that's a common problem with the people who are newbies when learning the MetaQuotes language 5, because over optimization, you basically give SAP, for example, a direction on exactly what you need. SAP makes sure that the algorithm is flexible enough that it works in future conditions, right? Not just historical conditions. Most people and newbies make a mistake of basically overfitting their model so much that it becomes completely unreliable in future conditions, unlike the backtesting conditions that it might be working really well for. And finally, market volatility is a major challenge in trading. Markets are unpredictable, so you need to diversify your strategy and trade with extreme caution. So, what are my final thoughts, right? So, basically, becoming an algorithmic trader using MT5 expert advisors is a journey that combines trading knowledge, programming skills, and continuous learning. The potential is immense, but success requires discipline and willingness to adapt. So, start small, stay consistent, use the tools that are at your disposal wisely, and with MT5 and expert advisors, you're on path to becoming a proficient algorithmic trading. If you have any questions, let us know in the comments below. And if you got any value from this video, please like and subscribe. And with that, I'm going to sign out and see you in our next video. Thank you.